Hey everybody, I'm Julie Barrett, founder of Conservative Ladies of Washington, and I am back again with another bill of the day. Today I'm going to be telling you about House Bill 2038. This bill is an act relating to collecting data on student transfers and withdrawals from public schools and school districts. Now, this bill is sponsored by a handful of Republicans, namely the prime sponsor is Representative McClintock, Stephanie McClintock from down in Southwest Washington. It is co-sponsored by Travis Couture, Waters, Rude, Jacobson, Cheney, and Griffey. All are Republicans with the exception of Waters. This is a bill that we oppose, and a lot of people are like, well, it's a Republican bill. Why would you oppose it? We are strictly about policy. And so if you write good policy, we're going to support it. If you write policy that we think is bad policy, then we will oppose it. It's not personal, it's politics. This is a Republican bill that we oppose. We do not think that it's good policy, and I'm going to tell you why. It has a hearing on Thursday, January 11th at 8 a.m. We will be testifying in opposition to this bill, and I would encourage you, I will have links in the description below. I would encourage you to sign up to testify if you feel so compelled to do so, or send in a written testimony as to why you think that this bill isn't a good idea. The other thing you can do is you can sign in, which I call this is like voting on a bill, and it just takes you 30 seconds. You click a link and you put pro or con, whether you support or oppose this bill. And that's just a way that citizens can let the legislators know how they feel about this particular piece of legislation. So let's take a look. Let's dig into this bill. They're setting this up as necessary because of data that they have collected on student enrollment trends. And in the bill, it states that between 2018 and 19 and the 2022-23 school years, public school enrollment declined by more than 20,000 students, which is a decrease of 2%. The legislature finds that the increasingly frequent parental preference for non-public education options have occurred without a corresponding collection of data that could help school officials, policymakers, and the public more fully understand why parents are foregoing public schools and make informed choices in the shared objective of supporting the education needs of all students. The Office of the Superintendent of Public Instruction shall create an online survey for parents or guardians to complete at their option, so it's optional, which is the good thing, upon transferring or withdrawing a student from a public school or school district. The purpose of the survey, which must be operational by September 1st, 2024, is to collect data for school officials. You should have some red flags going off right there. Policymakers and the public regarding the reasons that parents or guardian transfer or withdraw students from public schools and school districts. Public schools must notify parents or guardians of the survey and provide a link to the survey upon receiving a request from a parent or guardian to transfer or withdraw a student. So it's interesting that it is upon the request, not after the withdrawal has been made. So that is another one of the red flags that we see in this bill. So first of all, we don't like the government collecting data on our families. That is just not anything that the government needs to know. We don't believe that they need to know what our reasons for pulling our children out of government-run programs is. So for that, we object. Anything with government soliciting our data, we object to that. Now, granted, this is optional, so you wouldn't have to do it. However, it's optional now, and that's the key word, is now. Typically, what we see is it'll be optional, but it will very soon move to mandatory. Now, the Republicans, one of the Republicans who is on the sponsors of the bill, Representative Skylar Rude, tweeted to Conservative Ladies of Washington on December 30th, "This is a great way for us to actually hear from parents, the most important stakeholders in kids' lives." I agree with him that parents are the most important stakeholders in kids' lives. We want to see the variety of reasons parents don't feel public schools are serving them so we can improve. This CLW position contradicts the idea of parent engagement. And to that, I would say parents have been speaking up for years, especially since 2020, when all the schools shut down, parents really got in the know very quickly about what was going on in the public schools. Parents started speaking up. You saw parent groups forming all across the state. Parents were coming to, showing up in legislative hearings on Zoom. They were sending emails to legislators. There has been no shortage of parents speaking out about what they don't like about what's going on in public schools. So to say that we want to have parent engagement after parents have gotten to that final straw of withdrawing their kids to public schools is really disingenuous. The conversation with parents needs to happen before parents have to go to that last resort. And I think that our legislators have really had an ample opportunity to engage in these conversations with parents. Parents have not been quiet about this. Additionally, we know that the state report card, as far as academic success with students, you've got only 51% of students are passing the English language arts basic standards. I think you've got 39% in math and 37% are passing science. So take a look at the report card and let's get back to fixing the problem. Students are not achieving academic success. They're being indoctrinated, and this is why parents are pulling them out of the schools. And so in addition to all of these reasons, we see you guys know what the problem is in public schools. So instead of taking the time and energy and resources and the money to fund a survey and get all of this rolled out across the state under the purview of OSPI, which the last thing we need is OSPI in charge of one more thing in our failing government schools. Instead of doing this, let's fix the problems that we have in the public schools. Let's get back to academics. Let's get back to the basics of education instead of the indoctrination. I mean, there was a news article that came out today in Burien in the Highline School District where a fourth grade teacher is doing lesson plans because they are no longer going to be Ms. Angela, but they're going to be Mr. Angel. And so for their fourth grade 10-year-old students, they're doing a whole lesson plan about adult transitioning from one gender to another. This is why parents are leaving. There is information all over the place for legislators to draw from as to why parents are leaving government-run schools. The other concern we have is that with parents wanting to homeschool, wanting less red tape, wanting less government interference with what they're doing with their kids, this seems to be a way that the government can start inching its way into the homeschooling arena, and we don't like that. We really want to protect a parent's right to homeschool their kids. So those are all the reasons that our team has kind of come up with collaboratively for why we are opposing this bill. Of course, you should draw your own conclusions. I'll have links to all of the information that our team has put out, as well as the bill itself, and you can read that. I'll also have the links so that you can take action and sign in on this bill and make your voice heard. The hearing, again, is Thursday at 8 a.m., so you do need to take action before 7 a.m. on Thursday, January 11th. And finally, make sure that you are signed up for our Substack, which is the best way to get the latest updates, breaking information, and our calls to action. I would also ask if you would please consider making a donation or becoming a paid subscriber, as that's the best way that you can support our work. We are unaffiliated with any political party. We work for you, the citizens. We're trying to bring you the most factual, truthful information so that you can decide for yourself and so that we can hold government accountable to do the work for we the people. So I've got links to all that in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.